Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here, coming at you with the 6th and final video in our Platinum Trophy Guide for Morbid, the Lords of Ire. Now in the last video we'd gone through the 5th, or the last area, as you'll see here, the Thorax, as you'll see. And we'd fought and defeated the last mini-boss and last main boss of the game, and thus completed all of the quests. Now, as you'll notice, we did not complete our Morbid menagerie. As you'll notice, we are missing at least a couple of items so far. But don't worry, we are going to be cleaning those up. Just keep that in mind. There's not that many, but there are just enough that we have to do some work. But don't worry, I got you covered. So that will be one part of this video. The other part is the last trophy, which I will probably cover first, and that is to fight and defeat 13 ghost enemies. Ghost enemies are the enemies that will reappear after you have defeated an enemy, with a random chance, of course, based on your sanity meter being incredibly low. Sorry about my coughing and readjustment. But don't worry, I will show you now how you can actually fix that. So what you want to do is simply equip the Blessing of the Insane. Now, when using a Stone of Dibram, this will decrease your sanity, as you'll see. But from here, I'm going to show you guys where you might want to use this. Now, we're going to go all the way to the Palace Courtyard in Dunghaven. So I'll see you there. Alright, so once here at the Palace Courtyard, all you're going to want to do is simply use 2 of these Stones of Dibram. As you'll see, this will cause the screen to be a bit weird. So, as you'll see, when you defeat an enemy, they might have a chance to come back. If not, that's fine. You'll want to then come over here, fight this guy. Like I said, upon defeating them, there is a chance they come back. If not, then what you do is you come up here to this little side area, and you'll be able to easily see all of the enemies. Activate another Stone of Dibram to once again decrease your sanity. As you'll see, we got 1 right here. That's what they look like. And we got 2 in this one run. Like I said, it is a random chance to happen, but once you have all 13, then we can move on to getting the remaining weapons that we need to finish our Morbid menagerie. I know it is a bit annoying, but I will try to do my best to fix my mistakes, as I should have caught them and known about them when doing the original walkthroughs of each area. But for the sake of things, what we're actually going to do to get our first couple of weapons is actually travel back to other parts of Dunghaven, as we actually ended up getting all of the ones from Reinhold. Now do note, I will leave a link to the a generous video guide done by Unbroken who has gone through and done all of the weapons. So first off, we're going to go to the Favela Square, and I'll show you where to get one of the weapons that I had missed. Alright, so from the Favela Square, if you head through like you're normally going to progress, you'll come up and follow the path that I take to find the first of a few weapons that I ended up missing along my guide. So once you head up the stairs here on the right, like you're going to progress, you'll have this giant tree in the middle. From here, if you actually come back over into this side area here, which is exactly why I missed this weapon, you'll come back here, and this will wrap around into an alley, as you'll see like so. And here you will get the first weapons, the Ivory Crescents. These are a pair of sickles, and then from here you can just run across here to end up back. So now the next area that we're going to go to is the Sunken Isle checkpoint, so I will see you there to show you where to get the next weapons. Now then, from the sunken aisle checkpoint, you're going to progress forward like you're going through the area normally. You'll get to this little alleyway, and as you'll see, just right above us is the sack containing the weapon. So if you just pull out your gun and fire, you will then get the next weapons, the brass gauntlets. Like I said in my initial guides, if there were any things like this hidden up above, I was definitely going to miss them. Once again, that is my bad, but now we're actually going to be moving on to Aurelia. We surprisingly got all of the items in Cinder Valley. So first and foremost, what you can do is actually just go to the terminal station, and I'll show you the straightforward guide from there to get to the first of the two weapons we missed in Aurelia. Alright, so the first of the two weapons that we are going to find here in Aurelia is going to be from the starting area. You're going to have to take one of the shortcuts over here. Now obviously you can just backtrack through the station once you get that shortcut unlocked. Either way though, this is the path that you'll go. So you'll have to climb up these two ladders here. Once up the second one, we can then continue on backwards through the area. Best way that I found is just to come to the left of the stairs, follow this down and around, and we'll have another one of those little weapon sacks, I guess is what we could call them, hugging the right. And in this area here, you should see it just up above. Now do be careful when you do this though, as there are going to be, as you'll see, 3 of these enemies here. Just be careful when dealing with them. But once they are taken care of, you will then get your first weapons, the Fists of Ire. So now we're going to move to the area just outside of the temple where we fought the mini-boss. I forget the name of it, but I will tell it to you so you know exactly where to go. Now from the Notre Manus checkpoint, you're just going to follow this path like you're going to progress normally through the area. Once again, another side spot that I ended up missing. But you're going to come across the bridge, and right here, you're going to have this secret little alley that is tucked away, just back here. Once the game loads, of course. There you go. Now heading back here, you're going to follow this path around into this little antique shop, I guess is what you would call it, or art display. But just here on the right in the main room, you'll find the second weapon that we missed in Aurelia, the Eldritch Blade. So now we basically have to go into the thorax to miss the last two, or to grab the last two weapons. The first one is going to be in the abdomen area, so I will see you there. From the abdomen save point, if you take the shortcut paths that you unlock, it'll make your life a little bit easier to get to the point that we are going to. But you'll just come up here, and then once you get to this point, you'll take this right down, taking the first shortcut you can unlock, which you'll see here. Then from here, you're going to turn around, and just right next to this giant bulb, inside this building here, is the first of the last two weapons found in the thorax. Here you'll get the bone dirks. So now we'll move on to the next area. Now the last weapon that I missed is here in the Punctum Sanctum. It's in the same spot that you find the last relic to give to the Hag of the Hall. So coming up over here is if you're going to progress, but instead coming down here to this secret little ladder area. As you can probably guess, this is a sack on the ceiling that I ended up missing. We only have one enemy to deal with here, which shouldn't be too bad. There we go. Now, like always, you're going to come into this room here where you find the relic, and then immediately look up. And here you should get the last weapon that you'll need, the Stinger Claws. Now, obviously, you can always double check your Morbid menagerie, but if you have got it fully completed out, what you can do is head back to Professor Maximus in the Hall of Redemption, and he will give you congratulations. Now, you don't get any reward for doing it, but you do get a trophy, which I think is more than enough, if only. But now the last thing that we do need to talk about is actually at the Hall of Redemption, and that should now be the last trophy that you have to do, the cycle of unending. So I'll see you there and talk about that. Now, like I said, if you had properly done everything, you should be able to see that you can come back to Professor Maximus.
There's no joking aside. Now all we need to do is
Obviously, if you have any quests, here we go.
The land of thank you, Striver.
And that will get you the trophy for completing the Morbid menagerie. Now, the last thing we need to do is to talk about the cycle of unending trophy, and I'll show you where to go now. So if you head up to the bell tower found at the Hall of Redemption. Now, do note, you can only access this after completing the game. You can't do this before completing the game, but here you'll be able to talk to Claire the Blind Voyant. So here you have a couple of things to notice. So in the cycle of unending, what you can do is, it is basically a new game cycle or new game plus, depending on how you want to do it. So what I like to do is I like to make sure that I keep everything on Claire's hands. Make sure you have all of these checked to keep everything that you have from your first playthrough. Now, do note, you don't have to touch anything in Claire's dares to get the trophy to work. The Claire's dares are basically just to make the game harder for you in some way, shape, or form. As you'll see, your sanity meter is permanently bottomed out, so you get no XP, but your overall damage done is greater. The Dare of Frailty means no matter what, you will always die in one hit to everything, which is a little insane to me. And the Dare of Hardship, enemies get harder each playthrough. Like I said, you don't have to have any of these checkmarked to do a cycle of ending. Once done, you then will simply back out, and then, I'll probably suggest that you make sure that you either have a save backed up or you're ready to go, but make sure that you have done absolutely everything that you need to do before doing this, as this will kick you all the way back to the start of the game in Rimehold. Now, one of the upsides of doing a new game cycle and having it be the same difficulty is you keep everything that you have. So all of your runes and everything that you have on your weapon, those will stay the same, but you'll be able to pick up the runes that you've already picked up again. So you can make an even stronger set of runes infinitely until you have broken weapons. But that's getting out beyond the point of what I'm trying to make here. So, if you pick just all of the Claire's hands stuff and then go into the cycle of an ending, to get the trophy, what you have to do is beat the game all over again. Now, like I said, doing that makes your gameplay a lot easier because you have all of your runes and everything still from your first playthrough. So it's basically just doing a new playthrough, but you have all of your amped weapons and runes. So all of the bosses and everything will be a cakewalk now that you know how to fight them and deal with them. Sorry about that. So, once you have defeated the Queen of Ire again, the trophy will pop up after you are back here at the Hall of Redemption and talk to Thalos completing that quest. That's when it popped up for me, and it's when it should pop up for you, if not a little bit after. Now, you don't have to do all the quests or anything over again, you just have to rebeat the game. Now, in order to actually activate the cycle, you then have to ring the bell here, and then what I ended up doing is talking to Claire again, and then it kicked me into the start of the game again. Like I said, only do that once you're ready to go and do that all over again. So just keep that in mind. But like I said, if you do decide to go into a cycle of unending, obviously you're trying to get the platinum trophy, of course, but like I said, you can re-pick up all of the cosm stones, everything like that. Do note you can pick up duplicates of weapons if you so choose to, but you can't drop them or discard them, so keep that in mind, as if you do any of the side quests for Professor Maximus, then that will also get you duplicate weapons. But like I said, I'm going to leave a link to the guide that Unbroken Odds did for all of the weapons, and he has timestamps that you can kind of go in between for each area in case you're not sure. But I will leave his video in the description. And like always, I have been Mr. Pilgrim. I do hope that this video and these guides have been helpful or informative in any way, shape, or form. And as always, I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.